Okay, so I was thinking of something earlier about people who need to take control and how domineering, controlling people mess up other people's natural tendencies. So this could play out in something very simple, like packing a grocery bag or a box, and someone comes along saying, "Oh no," little girl implied, "you need to pack it this way. You need to do this, you need to do that, you should do this, you should do that." There's nothing worse than those personalities just coming over and taking over what you're doing. And this could be at work, it could be in life in general. You could be a kid and have to put up with extended family members or step family members or whatever, other people who wouldn't normally be in your family mix, and they just sort of take over. And you already know how it needs to be done based on your natural abilities and tendencies. You know that this is how I need it to be for me, and it'll still work out. And there are always people who need to come in to tell you otherwise because they think they know everything. This is an old argument, and I forgot about it until something happened recently, and it's like, no, they're messing me up because I need to do it this way, and it doesn't matter in the scheme of things. Like, it matters that no one takes control of me, you know what I mean? So, but it's an old argument because domineering people always mess things up. And people with natural tendencies are left like wondering, how do I get away from this like rapist of a person or persons? So anyway, that came up as a thing. I was thinking about it, and it's like, why do people need to mess you up, or why do they think they know it all? Or, you know, interestingly, we all have our own way. And if it works for us and we're not affecting other people in a really dangerous way, then but anyway, I think you get the gist. It's also a thing too, the same mentalities, the same domineering people are the same people who would save themselves before saving you. So this could happen in the pandemic. They would get all the cleaning supplies, they would get everything up in a panic. They might know that they're inferior and they need to do a lot more to not die. Other people might have been a little bit more relaxed about the issue. They know what they need to do, so I guess we better do it just in case, and so forth and so on. Or on a sinking ship, there's the people who would save themselves first. They'd push you aside to get on the dinghy or whatever the little boat thing is, raft that gets you off the sinking ship. And they're the same. Domineering people have that same tendency. It's kind of a bizarre, and it's like, what if you're like a totally awesome person like myself, and these people can't stop finding you? They're predatorial in nature. They desperately need to control something. The issue is they never learned how to control themselves. All they learned how to do was to control other people. There's nothing worse. And if you are a single woman, you know, often women can be overpowered. And also, I'm, you know, more feminine in nature, kind of. I did grow up without a dad in the house full time, so I'm used to doing things that guys had to do. So in that respect, you know, we couldn't turn to our dad and say, "Oh, are you going to take out the trash?" We would have never said it, but it would have been like assumed that he would take out the trash. That's what everybody did in the neighborhoods back then when I grew up. But anyway, what do you do if you're someone who's always found by domineering people who need to tell you how to be or do or act, or how to pack your grocery bag, or how to pack a box, or where to park, how to park? You can't do that. You can't do that. What if you're just walking a dog like this lady here? She's doing a fine job. You can't do that. You better stand back and check the traffic again. That, I am so not kidding. Those types of people will find me. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. No, you gotta, you're gonna get in trouble. That's my favorite, and I'm so glad I'm in a liberal town where people are like, yes, because we live in a free speech society, and there are people who desperately want you to feel afraid to say anything out loud. Well, I was made to believe I'd been murdered the 4th Monday of January 2011. I've been raped about 4 times technically by law, if you were to look at the legal definition. One of them statutory rape, and there's some people who technically set me up to go to a party when I was 17, not quite 18, in college. And they knew, and they emphasized it by having a surprise birthday party for me later, even though it was their friends, not mine, to show that one of the people who technically is guilty of statutory rape had apparently... I didn't even think of stuff like that back then. Like back then, people didn't talk about this stuff, at least where I grew up, because that's how they get away with it. Now, if you live in a right-wing state, you don't hear about these things as much. Because they want women to just sort of put up with the abuse. If you live in a liberal state, people might come along and say, more rights for this woman here. She's worked her ass off and people keep raping her and telling her what to do. And she's trying to figure out how to escape the matrix of controlling asswipes. All right, with that said, let's go across to Lansing.
That day, and I love it so much.
All right. So let's connect later.